This is the design for Washerpool College. Let's have a look at the task scenario. We've been asked to create a database for Washerpool College. The college offers a range of subjects from level 1 to level 3. For example, BTEC Information Technology at level 3. The database will record information about students, subjects, classes. Students are enrolled into classes. Up to 20 students can be enrolled in a class. A class for a subject may be taught in more than one class. Each student has an email address that is made up of 3 letters, uppercase first, followed by 2 lowercase letters, an underscore, 2 letters, uppercase first letter, followed by lowercase letter, and then at washer.ac.uk. For example, lit_tr at washer.ac.uk. We've got quite a lot of information here from this scenario. For example, students are enrolled on classes, and classes likewise will have students. We know that a class is for a subject, and a subject may be taught in more than one class. So that's some sort of guiding information regarding the relationships. Let's have a look at the data next. So here's the data. So let's have a look at class ID 1. Has class ID 1 got more than one student? Yes, it's got student 1 and student 2. So a class can consist of many students. Let's have a look at the students and see if they can attend many classes. So here we've got student ID 1. That's James Abbott. Student ID 1, James Abbott. He's attending 2 classes, so yes, a student can attend many classes. Let's have a look now. Can there be many classes for a subject? So here we look at GCSE Maths, which is subject level, subject ID 1. We've got 1 class, class ID 1, and then we've also got another class down here for class ID 6. So a subject can have many classes. But let's look at that the other way around. Can a class be for many subjects? So if we look at class ID 1, it's just maths. There's no other subject being taught at class ID 1. Just look at one more. Class 3 is for AS level computing. Class 3, AS level computing. There's no other subject being taught in class 3. We need to ask ourselves, can we identify any primary keys that might uniquely identify any potential entities? So I think, yeah, we can. We've got a class ID, a student ID, and a subject ID. So if you've got those as primary keys, then you're going to have the entities of class, student, and subject. The next thing to think about is, can we describe any potential relationships about this data? So ask ourselves a question, can a student attend more than one class? And the answer to that is yes. Can a class have more than one student? Again, the answer is yes. So we've got a many-to-many relationship between class and student. Can there be a number of classes for one subject? The answer is yes. But can a number of students be delivered in one class? And the answer is no. So we've got a one-to-many relationship between subject and class. So I can draw up an initial ERD from that information that we've got. So we've got a student can attend many classes, and a class can have many students, and a subject can have many classes, but a class is only for one subject. And if we just add the primary keys now to that initial ERD, we said that student ID was the primary key for student, class ID would be the primary key for class, the subject ID would be the primary key for subject. Now we have a many-to-many relationship here between student and class. We need to resolve that. We can't implement that in Access. We need to create 2 one-to-many relationships and introduce a new entity. So here's the ERD. you'll see the relationship between student and class has been taken out. We've created a new entity, and the name of this new entity comes from the two entities that we've just split up. So student, student, class, class. So the new entity is called student class, and our student has got a one-to-many relationship with class, and class has got a one-to-many relationship with student. The new key we take from the two entities that we've just split up. So we had student ID, so now we've got student ID. We had class ID, so we've got class ID, and together they're both underlined because together they make up the primary key of this new entity. The next stage is to add the foreign keys. If we just follow these simple rules, if we have a many side of a relationship, we need a foreign key, and we get that foreign key from the one side of the relationship. So if we look at class here, for example, we've got a many side of a relationship. We go to the one side, we get the primary key from there, subject ID, and we put a copy of that on the many side. That's on the class entity. So subject ID, primary key in subject, but it's also a foreign key in class, and we use the asterisk behind it to denote it's a foreign key. Let's have a look at the relationship between student, student, class. There's the many side. We go to the one side, get the primary key, student ID, and put it in as a copy of the key. Now, we've already got it there, so as a foreign key, we just have to put the asterisk behind it. And let's have a look then at this relationship between class and student class. There's the many side. We go to the one side, get the primary key, class ID, and put that in as a foreign key. Now again, it's already there. It's part of the primary key, so we just have to put the asterisk behind it. Just to recap on this, student ID and class ID together make up a primary key, but individually they are also foreign keys. We then need to allocate the attributes to the entities. So anything which describes our student will go with the student ID. So we have student first name, surname, and student email. Let's have a look at subject. We've got subject level, subject title, and then class. We just had class start date, which described the class. And then with no further attributes to go into student class, that's just an intermediate adjoining table which has got the foreign keys in, which links these two tables, student and class, together. To recap then on that process, first thing I did was identify the primary keys, and from there I was able to identify the entities. You can draw up an initial ERD from that and then allocate the primary keys to the entities. We may have some many-to-many relationships in our ERD, not always, sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. If there is, we need to resolve that by adding that joining table, splitting up the two entities in the many-to-many to create two one-to-many relationships. We can then quite easily add the foreign keys to the ERD and then allocate the attributes to the entities.